Society. We're working hard to save wildlife and wildlands around the world. Today I'm going to take you on a wildlife tour of Asia with stops in China, India, Cambodia, Pakistan, and Nepal. All without leaving the Bronx. Currently passing over the Bronx River. It's approximately 23 miles long and it provides a freshwater habitat for ducks, geese, fish, frogs, turtles, and other migrating birds. As we come into our first meadow, we're going to keep our eyes open for two species of deer and a species of antelope. We're looking for the spotted axis deer, the larger honey-colored barrasinga deer, and the smallest antelope in Asia, the blackbuck antelope. However, at this time of day, they've all migrated over to the north side of the exhibit. They're still on the left-hand side over the hill. But don't worry, we'll see them in about 6 or 7 minutes when we pull around to the other end of the exhibit, and we'll see everything, I promise. Like I said, we're looking for the axis deer, and they get to keep their spots their whole lives. Most deer shed them as they mature, but the axis deer use them for camouflage. The blackbuck antelope are the smallest antelopes in Asia, standing only 2.5 to 3 feet tall at the shoulder, and the males and females look a little different. The males have spiral horns, while the females have no horns. Finally, the barrasinga deer are the larger deer in this exhibit. Barrasinga in Hindi means 12-tined, and that's because the males will have 12 to 14 points on their antlers. They're also one of the most endangered species of deer in the world. And as we make our way down this hill, we're going to pass some exhibit huts, and they do tell an important conservation story about the barrasinga deer.
In 1970, there were estimated to be only 66 of the barrasinga deer remaining in central India. But this population was saved by the cooperation of the local Indian community. Like the shacks you see here, there were many small farms using space in and around India's Kanhar National Park. These people were coming into contact with the deer and the tigers that were also living there. Through cooperation with the Indian government, local communities agreed to relocate their villages. By moving, the farmers still had land to farm, but the tigers and their prey got more room to roam.
We all know a species that's extinct no longer exists, like the dinosaurs or the dodo bird. The animals we're going to see as we round this bend were on the very brink of extinction. In fact, the Mongolian wild horse was extinct in nature. And we're going to get a good look at them as soon as we come in, so get those cameras ready. They were extinct in the wild, which means they could only be found in zoos and in captivity. But there have been some recent reintroduction efforts to put these guys back into their native lands of Mongolia and into northern China. And as we take a look at them, you can tell they differ from domesticated horses in their appearance. They have a stockier build with shorter legs, and they also have an erect mane, so these guys are rocking the mohawk. We don't cut their hair like that. They're naturally awesome. They're also missing the forelock, that's a little piece of mane that falls down over their forehead. And you see that in domesticated horses, not these guys. They are one of the last 2 true wild horse species we have left. All others have either gone extinct or have been domesticated by people. We have those other wild horses here at the zoo. Head over to the African plains and check out our zebras a little later. But these guys have not been domesticated, and they do have a long storied history, and it's very much entwined with our own human history.
The first accounts of Mongolian wild horses come from rock engravings
Need everybody to remain
and even
seated, guys.
cave drawings that date back more than 20,000 years. And the first written accounts were from Tibet, sometime around 900 AD. But these horses remained largely unknown and unnamed to the Western world for many years. During an expedition to Central Asia in 1879, a famous Russian explorer and naturalist, Colonel Nikolai Przewalski, encountered the horse in western Mongolia. Because of his discovery, this species is also known as Przewalski's horse.
The captive breeding of Mongolian wild horses started in 1901 with a herd of only 28 animals. The Bronx Zoo got its first herd in 1902, and we've maintained a herd here ever since. After having a little trouble spotting our animals today, that's because they are still wild, and just like the animals that may live by your house, they don't always want to be seen by people. So you have to think to yourself, where would I go if I want a nice little grazing spot or a little shady area to sit? Those are the places you're going to want to look. Now, our next animals are both on the endangered species list, and the first ones, the brown antlered deer, have been back by the back fence for most of the day, so let's see if they're still there as we come around. The brown antlered deer do get their name from the shape of the male's antlers. When they fully come in, they come out from right above their eyes, so it looks like they have a pair of big bushy eyebrows. They're currently classified as vulnerable in their native Cambodia, and that's due to lack of a wild diet. Much of their grazing land has been taken over for farming.
Carrying.
So if there's no wild food for the wild deer, there are no deer. If you look all the way to the right-hand side through the trees, you can see our next animals. Those are the gaur. Gaur are the world's largest wild cattle. Males can stand 6 feet tall at the shoulder. They can be 10 feet long and weigh as much as 2,000 pounds. With their impressive size and their sharp horns, they can take on just about anything, even a tiger. What hurts these huge animals is lack of wild space for them to roam and also the diseases they can catch from domesticated cattle. Both the gaur and the deer are 2 success stories we have here at the zoo, and it's all due to our species survival plan.
Here at the zoo, we help gaur and brow antlered deer and many other species by participating in cooperative zoo management programs called Species Survival Plans. The name says it all. The plans aim to help these animals survive. Zoos across the country work together to maintain genetically diverse populations of rare and endangered species.
Even though we're here at the zoo looking at exotic animals, it's hard to forget that we're still in the heart of New York City. Everybody needs to remain seated at all times. Gotta sit. Thank you. That loud noise you hear behind you is the roar of traffic on the Bronx River Parkway. So the zoo put up this large wooden fence in order to block out the noises coming off the busy highway, and it does just that. It muffles the sounds and it keeps our animals nice and calm. And it's especially important we keep our next animal calm because, guys, we're on the lookout for a tiger. And I do ask everybody, please remain seated at all times. Tiger stripes provide excellent camouflage, and even professional researchers have a difficult time spotting them in the wild. But that's why myself and Danny are here. If you look along the fence line, you guys are going to see Yuri. He's a male Siberian tiger off to the right-hand side towards the middle of the exhibit. Again, I do need everybody to remain seated at all times. Third car, you got to sit down. This is Yuri. He's a Siberian tiger. He's the larger of the 2 tiger species we have here at the zoo. This is his 2nd year on tour, so he's a pro. He knows what's going on. And he currently tips the scales at 400 pounds. Now, he got to be such a big, healthy boy with a nice, steady diet of meat. And in the wild, tigers hunt a large variety of animals, but they prefer deer and wild pig. And in one sitting, a tiger can eat as much as 40 pounds of meat. That's 160 hamburgers for us, without the cheese. Guys, I do apologize for the tiger being so close to the fence and a little out of view, but if you'd like to see more here at the zoo, head over to Tiger Mountain where we can see more Siberian and Malayan tigers. See a couple of the gaur up on top of the hill as we come down. And as we come down into the Rocky Valley, you're going to get to see the deer and antelope you missed in the first exhibit. Remember, the spotted deer are axis deer, and they get to keep their spots for their whole lives. The smaller animals, the white underbellies and the spiral horns of the blackbuck antelope. We also have India's national bird, the peafowl, down here. The males are peacocks, females peahens. And as we come down into the valley even more, into the mud, you guys are going to be able to see the Barasinga deer, the ones we heard about in the recording earlier. Follow the road and off to the back where there's a little muddy pond, you'll be able to see them. The roads in the wild tend to mean danger. They can bring hunters. Here at the zoo, our roads bring food. Our zookeepers go in and out of these exhibits on the roads, and they make sure everything is nice and clean, and the animals have plenty of food to eat. We're going to be driving through a small bamboo forest, and while we're here, let's keep our eyes open for some wild pigs. Imagine a pig that has tusks that are up to the top of its snout and then curl back towards its eyes. That pig is called a Barbarossa. And in our first exhibit here, we do have our male. He's a little close to the tracks, though. And he's got little tusks, so he's a juvenile male. And next door, we do have Kathy and the kids. She's got her piglets out. They're off to the back of the exhibit, where it's a little shadier, off to the left-hand side. They're almost completely hairless, and with their gray skin color, it helps them blend in with their rocky environment on their home island of Sulawesi in Indonesia. They're mid-40s, and they each weigh approximately 10,000 pounds. Now, don't let their gray, wrinkly skin fool you. These are 2 pampered ladies here at the zoo. Besides having their own personal swimming pool, they get a bath twice a week and pedicures twice a week. Now, the pedicures are especially important because in the wild, an elephant will walk about 30 miles a day in search of food. and as they walk, they wear their nails down. Here at the zoo, we give our elephants all the fruits and vegetables they can eat, and also 200 pounds of hay to eat every day, so they don't need to walk as much. So to simulate the wear and tear on their feet, we need to clip those nails. Their trunk is an amazing tool. They have over 40,000 muscles in it, and they can use it. And they also have a small finger-like feature at the end, which helps them to pick up objects. It's so sensitive, they can pick up an egg without cracking it. However, it is still strong enough that they can rip a small tree right out of the ground. Almost missed her. She looks like a big rock sitting in the muddy water. That is a rhino. She's got some wiggling ears. All rhinos are endangered. In fact, only 2,000 survive in India and Nepal, and we currently care for 5 here at the zoo. Carrying up the hill on the other side of the rocks, you're going to see some large chocolate-colored deer sitting down by the fence. These are sambar. They are the largest deer in southern Asia, standing 5 feet tall at the shoulder, and they can weigh as much as 650 pounds. Also, you see the antlers. The male's antlers can go to be over 3 feet long, and they can have 3 points on each bar. Along the fence line here, we're going to see some smaller tan deer. These are not babies. These are actually hog deer, and they get their name because they're short and heavy like a hog, and they move like pigs. They creep and crawl rather than run and jump like their deer cousins. Nilgai are the largest and fastest antelopes in Asia, standing about 4.5 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder, weighing up and reaching speeds of up to 40 miles an hour. Crossing over the double, we want to make sure it remains a healthy resource that can be enjoyed by Bronx residents as well as the wildlife. To learn more about the river, head over to the Mitsubishi River Walk, located over by the edge of parking area B. As we come back to the mainland, you're going to notice a change of environment. This rocky terrain is home to 2 relatives of the wild goat. We're looking for the Himalayan tar and our newest animals, the markhor. We're going to see the markhor first up here by the rocks. We have a big family group of 3 big adult males with long spiral horns that can grow to be over 5 feet in length. We have some females that have smaller pointy horns. We also have 8 new babies. The babies have nubby horns. They're still babies. They're native to Afghanistan and Pakistan, and they are the national animal of Pakistan. They were hunted to near extinction until the late 1980s when the captive breeding program took over, and there are now only about 2,500 left in the wild. Climbing up this hill here, you're going to see some of the Himalayan tar. They're a little darker than the markhor. They have smaller triangular-shaped horns that curve backwards. Now, I'm going to apologize ahead of time because our last animal is in a very bad spot for us to see. In fact, this may be the best spot. As we come down, there's a V-shaped tree. Right behind it on the ground is our red panda, Wayne. Now, the red panda, I need everybody to remain seated at all times, though. Everybody's got to sit. Or just ignore me, whichever. The red panda was known to the Western world many, many years before the giant black and white panda was, and people thought the 2 animals were related. That's not the case. Giant pandas are bears.